Definitely
Absolutely.
sore the next day.
Talk to me about college recruitment a little bit. How did that kind of come about? Who was interested in you and kind of maybe what led you to JMU?
Yeah, so I always knew I wanted to go to college. I wanted to play at the D1 level. I've played nationally for 3 years now, and my 10th grade year, I got on a team that went to Colorado and California, and those were the biggest tournaments
Hmm.
in the United States. So when I went there and saw like my first game, it was like 30 coaches behind home plate, and I was like, this is where I want to be. I want to go play big D1. And I mean, JMU has Odyssey Alexander, and when they went to the College World Series, it was just an amazing story, and I wanted to be involved in that story. I was looking at SEC and ACC, um, but I love JMU, so
I
yeah.
get that. I went to JMU. I graduated last year, and I was like a student reporter at the
Mhm.
Breeze, our student newspaper there at the time. So I like covered CC for like a year or two. So I totally remember that story. So it's super cool to hear. And then I guess like maybe you said you wanted to be a part of JMU's story. Maybe like what stuck out to you a little more about JMU's story than maybe some of those SEC and ACC programs?
I would say JMU, they were always, nobody expected them to do what they did. And I think that correlates a lot with my story. Like nobody expected me or a little Powhatan pitcher to do what I've done.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to continue their greatness story. And
Mhm.
I love how nobody expected them to do what they do. So
Do you think nobody expected you to do what you were able to do just because you were from Powhatan? It's a smaller town, smaller area.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was told from a young age that I would never play D1 and that I wasn't good enough. So now I'm one of the fastest pitchers in Virginia. And I mean, it's just great.
Feels great to prove them wrong, right?
Yes. And that's one of JMU's thing is to prove
Yeah.
everybody wrong. And I mean, I want to go back to the College World Series with them. And that was like the first thing when I sat down with them, they were like, we want to go back. So I was like, let's go. So
Did you talk to Coach Libby Bowman and Coach Laporte when you were in your recruitment process for them?
I did. I actually, my first college camp ever was with them with Jenny Finch when I was like
Ah,
10
yeah.
years old, or may have been young. I was younger, but I remember going to the camp and it was like
Mhm.
my first time pitching. I didn't do very good. Um, but I think the coaches are amazing. They have an amazing work ethic for us and they care about us as a player and as a person. So I think that's what sold me is how much they care about us.
And JMU has so many pitching success stories. The last three or four pitchers that went through that program or play professionally at some
Mhm.
level, they stay with the game and it's national attention on them. Was that maybe part of like what led you to that choice was just seeing that you can have success even if you're coming from a small town to a mid-major
Yes.
program?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Odyssey Alexander was an amazing pitcher, and she got recruited, I think, by Mickey Dean at just a
Mhm.
small local tournament.
Yep.
And she went out there and did amazing.
Mhm.
Jalen Ford, I think she was a small town pitcher too, and I mean, she's in Japan right now. And
Right.
then Megan Good, she
Mhm.
was a small time pitcher, and I think she played in Japan too. I mean, all these pitchers came from small towns and did
Yeah,
amazing things. And I actually got to meet all of them
that's
at a
awesome.
camp. This was my junior year. It was Kate Gordon, Odyssey Alexander, Megan Good, and Jalen Ford. And it was like at Iron Bridge. And I remember meeting them and it was just the coolest thing ever.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
That's super cool. Do you talk to Taylor Johnson at all or have kind of a relationship with her at all?
Oh yeah, I've known Taylor. We've competed since I was really young. We actually just traveled to JMU together to work our first two camps.
Oh my gosh, that
That
must have been so
was
fun.
crazy. Yeah, we drove down together. She's a great person, great family, and I just can't wait to be teammates with her.
Um, it's coming out next. We're working on I'm doing all Metro for softball
Mhm.
here right now. And so, it's like we're looking at you and we're looking at Taylor Johnson. We're like, we have two huge JMU recruits
Yeah.
up
And that's what's so
here.
exciting is because she's competed at the national level and she's done an amazing job and won states. So I
Yeah.
think that we're going to be a great combo.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool to hear you say, that you've been playing against her since you guys were kids, and now you're like, oh my gosh, they're gonna take the quick trip down 64 to 81
Yeah.
to get to JMU, right?
I know that's crazy. Like all these people that I've grown up with, they're now going to like big colleges and stuff. And I just think it's crazy that we're all growing up that fast.
Right, and to work that first camp at JMU, with Taylor, and to, at JMU, a camp you went to as a kid, what was that whole experience kind of like?
It was crazy. Just going out there and stepping on the field and now knowing that I'm here. And
Mhm.
definitely, I want to just share like how great JMU is with all of the campers. And I just know that when you go to these camps, you want the players to talk to you. So I talked to all of
Mhm.
the girls on my teams and stuff, and they were amazing, super nice girls. And I mean, I just love how like JMU is so tight knit,
Yeah.
and all of the players, like there's not one snotty girl that's just like, oh, I'm not going to talk, I'm too good, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
everybody is talking to everyone.